Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore, Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, has frequently been referred to as a Renaissance man. One look at his resume and the reason becomes clear. As a lifelong learner with a passion for self-development, personal transformation, transmutation, and self-awakening, he lives his bliss as a teacher, mentor, speaker, minister, and so much more. His mission is to live, move, and be an active, which is an acronym, authentic, compassionate, transparent, inspired, vibrant, and empowered member of society who serves to educate, elucidate, emancipate, awaken, and empower people and communities. I give you him, Reverend Dr. Ray.
Hey, Tracy.
Hey.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Hanukkah. Happy blessed Sunday. Happy and grateful day to be alive and listen to the crackling of the fire behind Sue at this Oh, yes. Thank you, Celia. Ah, yes. Breathing in. It's good to be, right? Like it's good to just be. So right now, you know, it's that time of year. 'Tis the season. Thank you, Tracy. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Thank you, Randolph the reindeer. So as we close out this month, we're gonna talk about gratitude, but I feel the responsibility for us. Just follow along with me. It's easier to just follow along. Come on.
Oh boy.
So it says November, breathe in the view. And we're ending off November, still breathing in the view of gratitude as we get ready for December. And today we're talking about gratitude beyond. Living in the mystical journey, we cultivate a deeper gratitude for that which is seen. Now, I'm going to add something. That which is seen, unseen, and yet to be seen. The heard, the unheard, and the yet to be heard along our path of becoming. Now, why are we talking about that kind of thing? Because it's easy to be grateful for the things that we have in our hands. It's easy to be grateful when everything is great. Like it's easy. It's easy to forget that we have practitioners that can pray with us when everything is going fine. Like it's easy to forget that I can get prayer even when things are good. Like I don't have to wait until something is not going well to get prayer. It's easy to be grateful for that. But what about when you don't see it in your hands? What about when there's the mystery of, oh, what is this? What is this question mark that I'm holding in my hands? What is this? Can I be grateful even in the midst of the unknown? So as Eckhart Tolle says, acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. Breathe that in. Acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. And yet, what if I don't readily see this good, this abundance? What if I don't readily feel it? What if I'm having a challenging time seeing that which is to be grateful? What if in the midst of whatever I am feeling right now, gratitude is, because in all honesty, come on folks, let's be real. We understand that there are many people there are people within our teaching who don't feel a reason to be grateful. For them, this is not, 'tis the season, Tracy said, 'tis the season to be jolly. For many people, if we're honest, 'tis the season to feel lonely, to feel depressed and feel so sad. If we're really honest, we know that that time of year of great sadness, loneliness, depression, being blue is now. So wait a minute. Eckhart said, but what if I don't see it? So let's talk about what are we invited to do. So first, Ernest Holmes reminds us that we do not suggest to a person that they are all right when they are not. We do not suggest to the person who is experiencing that thing we call homelessness, we don't suggest to them, all is good, all is God, all is well. Pull yourself up by your spiritual bootstraps and we do not suggest to this person or to anyone that this is what this teaching or this consciousness would recommend. We acknowledge where the same thing we do in treatment. We acknowledge where you are. We acknowledge the truth. We express gratitude for the thing because we know it already exists in the absolute. And by anchoring to that gratitude in the absolute, then it shifts law of mind and action, the experience, and greatly increases the likelihood that this person will now experience what that prayer is, because prayer works. So let's be mindful. So read this with me, and I have a question. We have control over our experience in this life, what we think, what we eat, what we drink, the people we choose to surround ourselves with, our vocation, which can change at any time. We get to choose where we live, and we get to choose what we do with our precious gifts. Now, someone we all know shared this on their Facebook page recently, and someone sent me a comment and said, but I don't feel this, like, is this spiritual bypass or whatnot? So the question is, do we believe this? Do we believe that we have control over our experience in this life? That we get to control what we think, what we eat, what we drink, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, be mindful that in some ways this is a trick question, because the answer is both yes and. It's yes and. Because while there is a certain level of control, there are people right now who live in a food desert. And because of their socioeconomic current situation and experience, they don't get to choose to eat some of the things that others of us may have. So it's important, even within our teaching, to recognize there is privilege. That it's not just about racial privilege, white privilege. It's also about gender privilege, financial privilege, because privilege is that unique benefit that is afforded to someone that is not available to everyone. So before we just everything be grateful for it all, and why can't you just be grateful and be grateful, thankful? I'm so thankful, grateful, thankful, grateful, appreciative, thankful. And then we completely bypass and ignore that there are those who don't feel this. For them, the scales are tipped. So what is our invitation? Our invitation as practitioners of this teaching, whether licensed or not, is to uncover God in every person. To recognize that God is not sick. God is not poor. God is not unhappy. God is never afraid. God is never confused. God is never out of its place. The premise upon which all mental work is based is perfect God, perfect person, perfect being. And then we move our feet. Then we do the work. Then we go out into the world and assist those who do not know this, who do not recognize this, who do not feel gratitude and grateful. So when we run across people, we find people, we meet people, we encounter people who feel sad, who experience trauma, loneliness. We recognize and meet them where they are. We have to do this with ourselves first. So recognize, where am I? What am I feeling? Am I able to feel gratitude? Am I giving myself the space to experience whatever the trauma in my life is? Am I giving myself the self-care, the ease, and the grace? Am I doing this for my friends, for my family, for my spiritual community? Am I giving the conscious space for healing to occur? Because it's easy to expect others. Just do what I do. Just be grateful. Just pray. Like that's all it takes. No, that is not all it takes. Treat and move your feet. And being grateful, saying thank you is one thing. How many of us have heard someone say thank you? Tracy, thank you. And Tracy's like, yeah, but you didn't really mean it. We say it. It's a default. But if you're going to be grateful, then something visible, something visceral, something tangible must be expressed and felt. Simply saying the words don't mean anything, because I can mouth the words, you're God, I'm God, it's all God, and it's all good. Yay, team. It doesn't work. It has to be an embodied experience. Do not simply expect others to be readily grateful in the same way that you are. This is a process. Don't think, well, they should be grateful. They're alive. Some people feel so lost that they would rather not be. So don't expect them to be where we are. Don't expect them to be, pause, breathe. Breathe in the view and do the work to help others breathe in their view, and then shift their view and breathe in the view and shift their view. What is the point in my feeling gratitude if I'm unable to help Tracy feel grateful as well? Oh, I'm happy as a lark. And Tracy's like, you happy, you whistling around the house. And, ooh, she said it yesterday. A couple of weeks ago, I shared a quote by Malcolm X where he basically was saying, stop judging people for where they are when you know full well that at one time you weren't where you are, right? You're where you are right now, and you're looking at other people like, why aren't you doing better? Why aren't you grateful? Pause and breathe. You're where you are because you did the work. They're where they are because they may not know what work to do. So let your gratitude overflow to such a degree that it is helping others shift their consciousness as well. Let your gratitude be a gift to the world. Albert Schweitzer says, at times, our own light goes out and it is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have ignited or lighted the flame within us. There are times when the friends, the family, the spiritual community, the someone helps to rekindle that flame within us. As Tracy said, on the first Sunday of each month, we light these candles to remember, to reconnect with what it means to be one mountain, many paths, one tree, many branches. One God, many individualized expressions. Sometimes that fire might dim. And for some, that fire, they don't even know that there's a fire of divine spirit burning in, through, and as them. And so each of us, we are called into a new level of sowing seeds into one another, into the community. Don't just give $1 to the person that asks. Let that dollar be a seed of energetic expression that you say, I know that this dollar, as soon as it touches their hand or into that bucket, I know that their entire life must be transformed. Bless one another. Sow the seeds. There's this phrase, dude says, yeah, I could give you a fish, but that would only feed you for a day. And we know that because there is this thing called rugged individualism in New Thought. Some folks say it this way: give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Leave the dude alone and he'll figure it out. Leave him alone, he'll figure it out. That is not the consciousness nor the paradigm by which we operate. We provide tools for conscious transformation, the conscious awakening to our divine spiritual magnificence. Our job is to sow seeds into our own lives, to pour into the lives of those around us and into the greater community. So let's revisit this. If you give someone a fish, you feed them for a day. If you teach them to fish, you feed them for a lifetime. Well, yes. And what about the highest version of that, where if you give a hungry person a fish and their hunger is now satisfied, right? So if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, yes. But he's hungry. She's hungry now. Give the hungry person the fish and then teach them. Because once the hunger is satisfied, they will learn what you are teaching about how to fish. They'll learn it far more effectively, and they will be far more appreciative of both the fish you fed them with and the lesson you are teaching them, so that they can now do the teaching themselves. So teach them, pray with them, and teach them to pray. Meditate with them and teach them to meditate. Give them an affirmation and teach them how to declare their own affirmations. Point out their gratitude or things they can be grateful for, and then sow the seeds so that they are able to recognize gratitude in their own lives without us. Until such time as that flame may grow dim and we rekindle it in each other. Michael Bernard Beckwith says, gratitude places you in the energy field of plenitude. Glow with gratitude and see how awe and joy will make their home in you. So this gratitude changes the very vibration of everything that we experience. We now experience wonder and awe. It becomes home. It becomes our default setting. And so pause and breathe, because yes, there are those experiences and situations where we feel imprisoned, oppressed, depressed, sad, sick. And Viktor Frankl reminds us, the last of human freedoms, the ability to choose one's attitude, especially an attitude of gratitude in any given circumstances, especially in difficult circumstances. Especially when things are difficult, how do we develop an attitude of gratitude? How do we allow that to be the thing that gives us buoyancy to stay afloat? He goes on to say, whatever happens to us, we always have a choice. We may not be able to choose what happens to us, but even then, we are able to choose how we deal with and respond to what happens. Everything can be taken away from a person, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, the ability to choose your attitude. We may not be able to avoid suffering, but we can relate to it and bear it in different ways. And it is this choice and this inner spiritual freedom that makes this choice possible. And that cannot be taken away from us. That makes life meaningful and purposeful. And from there, we recognize that we are able to assume and take that journey of 1,000 steps with one step on the road to recovery, the road to healing, because we recognize that, as he said, it makes life meaningful and purposeful. It also makes healing possible and makes healing inevitable, because we are now able to be grateful for all things, that which is seen, unseen, and yet to be seen. Thank you for calling. We are able to be great. That's gratitude calling. We are able to be and feel this joy because we get to choose our attitude, even in the midst of. But it's a practice. It's not an automatic. It's not a default until such time as we practice it. Neil Donald Walsh says, gratitude in advance is the most powerful creative force in the universe. Gratitude in advance. How are we expressing? Well, pause, because keep in mind, we do this already in many ways. For example, how many of us thank the person in the restaurant, the server, before we even have the food? We place an order and we say thank you, typically. Would you like some water? Yes, please. Thank you. So what would you like? I'd like this salad, that salad, the other, sweet potato fries. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. We already know how to express gratitude in advance. We do it already. So now let's up-level it and recognize, as Cicero said, gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. Because this thing called gratitude gives us the ability to stand in the consciousness of yes. What do we say? The law always says yes. But are we mindful of what it is saying yes to? So let us do the same thing that Yeshua did. Because Yeshua said therefore I say unto you, what things soever you desire, when you pray, believe that you have received it and you shall have it. Isn't that a spiritual mind treatment? You pray in the present as though you already have the thing that you have. As it also says in scripture, to speak a thing that is yet to be as though it already is, and it must be. So Yeshua demonstrated this because he said, so they took away the stone. And Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank you for you have already heard me. I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me. But I said this on account of the people standing around, that they may believe that you sent me. So I'm declaring this so that they may see by my example. And when he said these things, he cried out loud, Lazarus, come forth. He gave gratitude before Lazarus came out of the grave. Am I giving gratitude right now for the book that I am publishing? That the book that is yet to be published is already published in the mind of God. Am I able to be grateful? Am I able to be grateful for the healing of my foot now, even while the healing is taking place? Am I able to be grateful now for the beautiful building that CSL Greater Baltimore already has in the mind? Am I able to be grateful now for what is seen, what is not seen, and what is yet to be seen? Am I able to stand on the road of 1,000 miles, the road from point A to point B, and recognize that because of the yes, because of the mental equivalent of yes, because of the mental equivalent of gratitude, right now, as it shows up in the 4 pillars. It shows up in how we think. It shows up in what we say. It shows up in what we are feeling. And it shows up in what we are doing. Treat and move your feet. Are your feet, your actions demonstrating your faith? Are you a lived demonstration of what you are grateful for? When someone looks at you, do they see your yes as a life well lived, steeped in gratitude? Wallace D. Waddell says, the reason simply is that the mental attitude of gratitude draws the mind into close touch with the source from which all blessings come. Gratitude anchors us in the same way that Yeshua said, look, I know that the law says yes. I know that that which is the infinite Father, Mother, infinite genderless thing itself, the universe itself, I know that it says yes to me, to my thoughts, my words, my feelings, my actions. It says yes. It says yes before I even say the prayer. The yes is already. Why? Because the yes is acting upon what we think, what we say, both internally and externally. What we say in a text, in an email. The universe is saying yes. What I'm saying in my feeling space, do I feel at one with Sue's prayer and meditation? Am I able to anchor and ground with the gratitude that she was exuding through the screen, through the very ethers of creation? Am I able to resonate with that same gratitude and feel it on some level? Because if I am, then the universe is already acting upon what I'm feeling as well. I haven't said a word, but I'm already a resonant match. My mental equivalent is already saying yes. And knowing that, then I am anchored consciously to the source from which all blessings come. And then what we appreciate appreciates. So I am grateful for a blessing. And then I have 2, and then 2,000. And one of the things that I said in one of the daily messages earlier, there was a song when I was growing up. I count my blessings instead of sheep. And, part of the song says, when I am worried and I can't sleep, I count my blessings instead of sheep. Then I fall asleep, counting my blessings. When I am able to count, I am blessed by each one of you. I am blessed by your presence and your prayers and your consciousness. Because if I didn't feel blessed by you, then you wouldn't be seeing me right here, right now. I'd be doing something else, flipping burgers, or Tracy rolled her eyes at me. Making pizzas, like I would be doing something else. But I feel the resonance with the beloved community. I feel your presence. I feel the blessings. And so I am here knowing that as you bless me, prayerfully I bless you, and prayerfully that blessing grows and multiplies and magnifies in the same way that Yeshua took the fish and loaves and blessed it, multiplied it, and fed the people. And then he and the disciples taught the people. And so we breathe in the view, we breathe in the gratitude, we breathe in the blessings, knowing that this is the season. And when is it not the season? Every day is reason to celebrate. Every day is reason to light a candle. Every day is reason to reignite the flames of our own power and presence. And remember who and what we are, because this source that Wallace is talking about, it is you in human, individualized, incarnated form. There is no this source as apart from you. It is you, and you are it. So breathe and be grateful. Breathe and be grateful. And as we breathe, we move to that part of service where we talk about the invitation to do spiritual practice this week. So journal or just think about whatever works for you. What does this quote by Rashid Ogunlaru mean as your daily practice? That's the key thing. Daily practice. Not, don't just read the quote. What does it mean to practice this? In life, one has a choice to take one of two paths: to wait for some special day or to celebrate each special day. To celebrate each day as special. What will we choose? And then, what does my mental equivalent demonstrate that I am saying yes to? Because we're always saying yes to something. I'm either saying yes to being depressed or yes to being happy, joyful, or I'm saying yes to holding the container to feel depressed and joyful. I'm holding the space to experience both. Now, it doesn't have to be either or, but both and. But it's saying yes. And is that truly what I want my yes to be? Because the universe is always saying yes. And then lastly, have a conversation with 4 people about what you are choosing to be grateful, thankful for, to be appreciative of, even before you had it as a manifested experience. This week's declaration or affirmation, I will say it first, and if you feel so aligned, say it with me on the second go round. I am grateful for everything I am, do, and have. Together. I am grateful for everything I am, do, and have. And we breathe. So in this moment, as we close service, we know that that which is being of and in service as God, in service as Spirit, in service as the activity of the universe acting upon itself. We go out in the world and we continue being of service, being in service to every person we meet, every path we cross, knowing that our lives, every thought we think, every word we speak, every feeling, and every action are sowing seeds that transform the world. And so 'tis the season to transform, to demonstrate, to manifest, and to be grateful for a world that works for all, right here and right now. This is so, it is done, and together we say, and so it is. Much love. See you soon.